welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing our pumpkin history lesson and cheesecake activity. So I have some of the activities and the items that you're going to need here with me, and I'm going to kind of walk you through how I do it and step by step. So one of the first things we do is we talk about how the Libby pumpkin puree and pumpkin pie mix are made. So I have both of these that I get from Walmart on a Walmart order pickup, and then they come in these two cans like this. And so when you do this, we watch a video about how the pumpkin pie mix is made and how the just regular canned puree pumpkin is made. And that's the first start of the lab. So we start there, and then we're going to actually do a taste test of these two. So these two taste very different. So if you look at the ingredients of these two, this is purely pure pumpkin, and it's going to taste just like pumpkin that it comes out of like just a pumpkin that you get out of the field. This one is actually going to be pumpkin pie mix, and so they're going to taste really different for the kids, and it's neat to see their faces when they look at these versus this one. So we do a taste test of this one, and then we also do a taste test at the end of our actual product. So the lesson starts out with how pumpkin puree is made, how pumpkin pie came about. We do this, I like to do it in the fall near Thanksgiving, Halloween, things like that. But we start and we can actually see these, touch these, smell these, do that taste test example. So you will need both of those for the lab and the activity. And then graham crackers, we make our own homemade graham cracker crust. You do not have to make your own homemade graham cracker crust, but I think that it provides the kids with a really unique opportunity to be able to touch those and do that. So in our homemade cheesecake, we have a graham cracker crust. You can kind of see it down here. Graham crackers, melted butter. We make that day one, and that sits there, and then we let that kind of solidify a little bit, and that helps so that the graham cracker crust does not come up with a filling. So that's where that sits. Then we're going to actually make the homemade cheesecake during the next day of class. So that takes a thing of cream cheese, Cool Whip. We use a thing of pumpkin, the actual puree, not the pumpkin pie mix, and then there's some spices and stuff like that. We can do that within my 52-minute class period, but it's hard to make the crust and the filling within that time period. So we really stick with, it's a 2-day cooking lab, crust one, and then puree the next day. If you do not have a refrigerator, this is a more complicated lab to make because you do need to refrigerate that butter that the crust is made from. And then the filling does need to be refrigerated because it is Cool Whip, cream cheese, and it needs to be cold when that happens. We do not taste test this until day 3. So I like to make the crust on a Tuesday, then I make the filling on a Wednesday. We taste test on a Thursday, and then completely clean up everything on Friday. Or you can clean up on everything on Thursday and then taste test on a Friday. But you do want to make sure that you are taste testing this within a certain amount of time period, so it's not sitting in the refrigerator or wherever you have that kind of stuff, depending on your space and stuff like that. So recapping, we do our video, we do a little bit of lab activities. There's some questions and some exploration in our lab that we start out with in our pre-lab and during our actual lab. And then we're going to taste test our pumpkin pie mix versus our pure pumpkin puree. We are going to make our homemade graham cracker crust in one day of our cooking lab. Then we're going to make our pumpkin pie cheesecake filling in our day 2. Then we're going to clean up and taste test our actual pumpkin pie cheesecake. A few tips and pointers is I let the kids bring in baggies, or I suggest like just containers that they can bring in so they can bring the rest of this home with them. So typically, depending on how big your group is, they're probably not gonna be able to eat this all at one time. So I let them bring this home with them, and it's nice to be able for them to bring in a container and not you try to shove it in a baggie or provide them with something, and then you might not see that back. And I do not let them bring home my container like this, or I typically do not see it back for a while, and we need that for class. So it's a really great activity. It's also lower cost. Graham crackers, pumpkin pie mix, cream cheese, Cool Whip, and a few spices. It is very economical for your class and something that you can do around the holidays. So good luck, and I hope that you enjoy your homemade pumpkin pie cheesecake.